Hey y'all, welcome to Kamira's Kitchen. I am going to be giving you guys one of the most delicious sweater weather recipes. This is my loaded chicken bacon ranch soup. Your whole family is going to love this one. It's so easy, extremely delicious, and might I even say highly addictive. I made this recipe for a women's Bible study potluck, and I barely got to be able to take any home, child. They was eating it up. They was trying to take it home for their husbands. Y'all, I had to fight just to get me a little bit. Okay, so y'all, this recipe is like that. Now I'm going to start with the produce, and you actually have quite a few options for what you can do here. I like to lean a little bit more into the broccoli cheddar vibe a bit, just to get some green going on, okay? Because to me, if you don't have broccoli or carrot or some type of vegetable, it just becomes extremely creamy, but maybe that's what you're going for. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to cut up 2 heads of broccoli, and I'm going to make them more on the medium size. If you don't like biting chunks of broccoli, then cut them very small. I am going to dice the onion tiny because I don't want big chunks of that, but I do want a big piece of carrot to bite into. If you don't like the larger size carrots, then I would say grate both of the carrots, and they will essentially just dissolve into the soup and give it color and add a little bit of body. But I'm going to go for this size that you see on the screen. I am going to put 2 potatoes. Not only is this going to thicken the soup, but it makes it hearty. Now, if you don't want to do the potato and carrot energy, another variation I've made that I love is using about 5 potatoes. So it becomes definitely more like a chicken, bacon, potato, cheese soup. So that's a way you could go as well if your family is not into, the veggies, or you just want to do something very stick to your bones. Go ahead and give a nice wacka to 6 cloves of garlic, and then mince that garlic finely. Now in the comments, I want you to tell me your favorite soup for the cozy season, and maybe I can recreate it on my channel. Let me know and give me some ideas. And if you think this recipe is going to be bomb, if you think you're going to make this for your family, go ahead and drop a heart in the comments. I am using 6 chicken thighs, and I'm going to cut them into about 1 inch to 1.5 inch pieces, and then I'm going to season them up. Have you all tried this restaurant style ranch? I feel like this is the best tasting ranch. It makes the best ranch. It literally tastes like the one in the restaurants, and it seasons food good. I'm going to add that with a little paprika and some pepper to my chicken, and then a little olive oil to help the seasoning stick. Now, I dine with the swan, y'all, so I am going to cut a pack of bacon in half, and then I'm going to chop up that half of the pack into smallish slices. Into a unheated Dutch oven, I'm going to add my bacon slices, and then I'm going to turn the heat on medium. I find that if you allow the bacon to warm up with the pot, it is going to crisp more evenly. When it is done and it's brown and the bacon fat is released, I'm going to remove the bacon, and I'm going to dab up about half of the fat. Now, I actually like bacon fat, but I don't want too much because I'm adding butter as well as using chicken thighs to have fat plus cream plus cheese. So I will take up about half of it. I'm then going to add a little bit of butter and my seasoned chicken thighs. I'm going to brown them and cook them for about 5 to 6 minutes. They'll probably be about halfway done at this point. Remove them and place them to the side, and then I'm going to put in all of my onion and my minced garlic. I'm going to saute this until it's browned. That will take about 3 to 4 minutes, and I'm going to actively scrape the fond on the bottom of the pan that's loaded with a bunch of flavor. Carrots take a while to cook, so I'm going to put them in now and saute them for about a minute. And I'm going to wait until much later before I put in my broccoli. So you definitely don't want to add that veggie. To thicken my soup, I'm using 2 tablespoons of flour, but I actually go in later and add in about 2 more tablespoons of cornstarch. So if you just want to use flour, you can put in about 1/4 of a cup, and I'm going to cook it with my veggies for about 2 minutes. Super important because you don't want that raw flour taste. Put in all your chicken and the juices. Now, if you leave the juices, you're leaving behind flavor. So definitely Don't leave the juices in that pot. And then I'm using reduced sodium chicken broth. Because I am going to be using ranch and all of that, I feel like I want to just bring the sodium down a bit, especially since, cheese has salt. So I just want to be mindful. I use a little of that broth to clean out the rest of the flavor from that bowl I had my chicken in. And I'm using 2 of the quarts of the reduced sodium chicken broth. Put in all of your potatoes, and then you want this to come up to a nice simmer. I'm going to reduce the heat to low once it hits that simmer, and then I'm going to cover it and leave it slightly uncovered just to make sure it doesn't over bubble or the pot doesn't get way too hot. Allow this to cook for about 10 minutes. A good gauge for this is that your potatoes should be about 3/4 of the way done, because now you're going to add in your broccoli, and that broccoli is going to cook quickly. It shouldn't take any more than about 5 minutes max, at least for me. I like my broccoli to still have a little texture on it. And if you have that little itty bitty broccoli, like if you cut it up very small, then that may only take about 3 minutes. I decided to go in and add in another packet of ranch. I just felt like it was going to add even more flavor and deliciousness, and it definitely did not make it too salty. And then I put in my bacon bits. I reserved a couple of the bacon bits to the side just for a topping. Now, if you are a mega bacon lover, feel free to use the whole pound of bacon. A super delicious variation of this soup would be using a pound of bacon, extra chicken, 5 or 6 potatoes, no broccoli or carrot. That would be really good. Now guys, at this point, my carrots are done. They're a little al dente, which is perfect for me. My potatoes are soft, and my broccoli is also fork tender as well. So at this point, I'm going to cut the eye off. I will let the soup sit for about 2 minutes just so the temperature reduces, and then I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of half and half and 1/2 cup of sour cream. Now I know some of y'all cooking pros are going to take the sour cream and temper it with the broth, which you definitely should do. Okay, that is a great idea, but I'm not going to do that today. Okay, I just let the soup sit for 2 minutes, and that was enough for me. Alrighty, and then I'm going to add in some cheese. Now initially I added in 2 cups of cheese, and then I was like, no, I gotta go all the way. So I end up adding another cup of cheese a bit later, and I also will just adjust the soup to taste with pepper and just any of my spices. This is where I felt like I wanted a bit more body, so I added 2 tablespoons of cornstarch mixed in a little cool water, and instantly the soup had a little bit more body to the broth, which is what I wanted. And I also decided to put in 1/2 cup of heavy cream. If you don't have heavy cream, you could instead just do 2 cups of half and half, but just straight heavy cream to me, oh my goodness, that just adds the richness, the coziness, the deliciousness that I want. Now I wanted mine a little bit more yellow, so I put in 1 packet of Sazon. This is totally optional, but the flavor worked and I loved the color. Take the recipe and do what you want in your kitchen. All right, so I'm just adjusting the seasonings to taste until it get to the way I want it. Now a little tip, add a pinch of nutmeg. Don't do too much. Literally, this ain't even 1/8 of a teaspoon. This is 2 swipes, okay, on my grater. That will just enhance the flavor of anything that's a cheese sauce. It's a very nice touch. It's not too much, but if you have it, it'll be delicious. Guys, serve this up with some toasted bread, maybe a little garlic bread, or if you want to be extra cheesy, some cheesy bread. Oh my goodness. And guys, you have a extra delicious soup. Please let me know in the comments if you are going to make this. My friends tore this up. We love this, and it was so good. I'll see you next time on Kamira's Kitchen. Goodbye, and God bless.